Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to talk about Dave Chappelle and his recent appearance on the Michelle Obama podcast. We saw him addressing the backlash he received around 2020, I believe, when he made some jokes about transgender people.
Everybody on the crew called him Andy. I didn't know any of that. I just went there to meet him, and when he walked into the room where we were supposed to meet, I screamed, "Jim Carrey!" And everyone said, "No!" Call him Andy. And I didn't understand. And then he came over and he was acting weird. I didn't know he was acting like Andy Kaufman. Just like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Hello." Andy? Now, in hindsight, how lucky am I that I got to see one of the greatest artists of my time immersed in one of his most challenging processes ever. Very lucky to have seen that. But as it was happening, I was very disappointed. Because I wanted to meet Jim Carrey, and I had to pretend this nigga was Andy Kaufman all afternoon. And he was clearly Jim Carrey. I could look at him and I could see he was Jim Carrey. Anyway, I say all that to say, that's how trans people make me feel.
So according to the crowd there, the joke was well received. Obviously, people know that comedians make edgy jokes. They push the boundaries when it comes to causing offense. So that's how it should have been taken. But of course, people ran with it and started labeling him, I guess, and including actual Republicans. So he spoke about meeting Laura Boebert. He took a photo with her. He doesn't discriminate, on people he takes photos with. If you're a fan, you're a fan. And he just took a picture with her. In hindsight, I think he wished he had declined, because then she went on social media and she was like, two people who know there are only two genders, something to that effect. And of course, that's going to bring backlash his way. People are going to label him Republican. Is he MAGA now? So he was offended at that. And I think he probably rued the day that he took a photo with her.
You can opt out of my crowd. But you shouldn't have to leave America because the president's making the block too hot for you. So and I did resent that the Republican Party ran on transgender jokes. I felt like they were doing a weaponized version of what I was doing. I didn't. It's not what I was doing. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
This is before I learned the phrase "I respectfully decline." And I was on Capitol Hill, and everybody ran up to take pictures with me from every congressional office. And I just take pictures with whoever asked. I didn't ask how they vote or what their voting record is. And everyone at first was like CBC people. And then here comes Lauren Boebert. And she said, "Can I get a picture?" And I'd already taken 40 pictures. I didn't want to say no in front of everybody. But I didn't know the phrase "I respectfully decline." So I just took the picture. And then she post a picture before I could even get from there to the show and says something to the effect of, "Just two people that knew that it's just two genders." She instantly weaponized it or politicized it. So I got to the arena and I lit her ass up for doing that. And she should never do that, a person like me.
Now she knows what's up.
Yeah, you do whatever you're doing. Excuse my language. You do whatever it is you do, but don't get me out of the splash zone.
But I know that's your stance on kind of the transgender.
That's a fact. It's not a stance.
Well,
that is proven by.
But I don't think Chappelle liked being used as a prop, is what he's saying. It's like when you
I mean, come on, you're a comedian. Be a little tougher, right?
Dave Chappelle is not trying to dictate what laws should apply to people, and he doesn't want to be aligned with people that are. He's literally making jokes about the misunderstanding of the entire experience and how mad people are getting about the fact that folks misunderstand it. And I think when Lauren Boebert takes a picture with him and acts like he too is putting his name in the hat for a law to be passed by using that wording intentionally, well, he's frustrated because he's a comedian and he's not asking you to vote for or against anything. He's not asking you to stop transgender or isolate the community. And he's saying, I would rather not be characterized in that way because I'm a comedian doing my job. And most people laughed at the humor and the truth of what I was saying.
Trump is a bit of a comedian, but he's no Dave Chappelle. I don't believe Republicans ran on transgender jokes. You know, they ran on restoring Title IX, they ran on restoring women's sports, women's spaces, so that female prisoners are not in a cell with a man who's been convicted of crimes against women and children. How about that? They ran on simple, common sense policies that most of the country actually agree with. So understandably, he doesn't want to be pigeonholed. He doesn't want to be claimed by anybody, especially Republicans. And I think at this point, he seems to be okay being claimed by the left, being claimed by the Michelle Obamas and, you know, the Democrats. He signed his soul away to Netflix, and now he's been Obamified. He's a sellout. He couldn't wait to sign the agreement to perform in Saudi. I think the point he was making was more nuanced than that. My takeaway was, while he'll wade into the deep with his material, it doesn't always represent his personal beliefs. He didn't like the fact that Boebert misrepresented him. He probably actually does believe that this stuff is kind of nutty, but he's a live and let live type of dude, so he's not really trying to dunk on them. And that's exactly what Boebert represented as one of us, one of us. I don't really have a problem with what he said, even if what Boebert said was objectively true. And that's a fair point. Like I said, I think he just didn't want to be claimed by anybody, especially the Republicans. So this is what he had to say about the backlash he received around 2020.
Doing jokes that some people thought were controversial and some people didn't. But that experience from my perspective is much different than what it must have been like watching it. Because, you know, listen, people would think it's me versus the gay community. I never looked at it like that. I always thought it was corporate interest and culture negotiating itself. So, you know, most of those people who were critical of what I was doing didn't seem like they were of it. It's like they had their faces pressed against the glass, commenting on what we were doing in there.
It's the transgender issue that really got him into trouble. I'm sure he's made jokes about every group, including gays, but I don't really think that was at the heart of the backlash. It was the transgender joke.
He was saying, I make fun of black people, and that doesn't get me in trouble. I make fun of white people, and that doesn't get me in trouble. I make fun of gay people, and that doesn't get me in trouble. I make fun of men, women, etc. I make fun of trans people, and I get screamed at that I have to stop, and I'm putting people's lives.
Right. So,
but he's now seems to have bought into the Michelle Obama oppression Olympics.
There were moments when I didn't feel like I got enough attention.
We live in this beautiful, very protected mansion that the American people have gifted us.
Many people don't know. I mean, much is not covered.
Most of our meals are prepared for us.
You're paying for every food, every bit of food that you eat. You know, you're not paying for housing and the staff in it, but everything, even travel. If you're not traveling with the president, if your kids are coming on a Bright Star, which is the First Lady's plane, we had to pay for their travel to be on the plane. It is an expensive proposition, and you're running for 2 years and not earning an income.
I was a dean of students. I was like, oh, you guys, all of that just disappeared in the course of this whole election, and you now see me as just Barack Obama's wife.
if I hear of someone whose fashion that I like and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available.
We don't articulate as Black women our pain because it's almost like nobody ever gave us permission.
And I think she's done a number on Dave Chappelle. I'm blaming Michelle, yes. What have you done to Dave, Michelle? He now seems absolutely miserable.
But it's never really been quite like this before, where everyone feels like we're on the precipice of some amazing change. And every day the new cycling is more appalling than the last day, and this doesn't seem like it's ever going to end. And every week I learn some new word like Strait of Hormuz or blah, blah, blah. And it's such an avalanche that it is fun, even for me now, to watch comedians contextualize this stuff. Someone asked me about my transgender jokes. They go, you got in a lot of trouble for those transgender jokes. And I go, the good old days. Because so much has happened so quickly But okay, I'm hopeful. As a matter of practice, this building opening up and being completed, that makes me hopeful. Having my own comedy club, finally, after all these years, that makes me hopeful. You guys being here with us, it's like a dream come true. It makes me hopeful. My community coming together in tough times, or our family. We had some tremendous losses recently. People in our family passed away, and the community, picked us up. That made me hopeful. The little things mean so much more now. And I would want to remind anybody that's listening to this show, that smile that you muster when it hurts to smile, this is priceless right now. Anything you can do to let each other know you're safe or that you're okay, it means everything right now, because otherwise this is intolerable. It's insufferable what's happening right now.
And although, again, being very privileged, not that I'm saying he hasn't worked for what he's achieved, but he's extremely privileged. He lives an extremely privileged life. He's not oppressed. He's able to achieve what he's achieved in America, yet he seems to be buying into this, oh my gosh, this is such trying times. We don't know if we can survive. What are we going to do? The fact is, whoever's in office doesn't affect him, and it doesn't affect Michelle, but they're acting like it does. So either something's been done psychologically, or they're trying to convince everybody else that the person in office is ruining their lives. I mean, even Barack Obama was recently saying that it's affecting his marriage.
You never let another man, unless he's sleeping with your wife, get in the middle of your marriage. How are you going to let Donald Trump create tension in your marriage? Like, how is that possible? She's a woman. Unless they're sleeping together, which I doubt Trump is sleeping with Michelle, it should not cause any tension at all. Plus, you're rich. Go to Hawaii, have a drink, play a little golf. You have a private chef. Is he not in? You can get another private chef. Life is good.
All she's done in the past couple years, every single public appearance she has made, she just complains. She's unhappy. It has nothing to do with Trump. She's like a miserable person. No personal accountability, wanting to blame everybody else for your problems. Why are you letting another man get in between you and your wife? Why are you letting another man affect your marriage? What? Everything I've learned about these two's marriage has been absolutely against my will. Like, just go to one of your multi-million-dollar homes on your private planes and just enjoy your life. What are you guys doing?
So for me, it is just incredibly disingenuous. Whoever's in office doesn't affect them. It affects regular people like us. Dave Chappelle, maybe some of his shows were cancelled during 2020, like a lot of events were cancelled. Okay. But he didn't have to worry about being fired from his job for not getting a vaccine that he knew he didn't need. He didn't have to worry about getting discharged from the military for not getting a vaccine. He didn't have to worry about healthcare premiums going through the roof, essentially being unaffordable. He didn't have to worry about that. Michelle didn't have to worry about that. I do worry about forever wars, and I want us to avoid forever wars. But the way he's speaking, it's like he doesn't even understand these issues, but yet he wants to convince people that it affects him. And so if it affects him, what hope is there for anybody else? So nothing against Dave Chappelle personally, but I feel like he's being used. He's being used right now to push this narrative, to encourage everybody that they have to be just as upset as the woke mob are, that they have to be just as Trump deranged as these wealthy, privileged elites. So again, I believe they're just trying to do a number on people. They're trying to affect people's moods. They're trying to affect people's perspectives. We don't have to agree with everything this administration is doing, and we should, ensure that we hold people who we've elected accountable. But don't buy into this. Other than, what's going on personally, if they've lost loved ones, my sympathies there. But in terms of, because Trump is in office, they are not suffering. But they want everybody to believe that they are. People like Rosie O'Donnell and Robert De Niro, these people who have lost their minds, and they really have. And I hope Dave Chappelle hasn't been added to that list. So let me know what you think. Do you agree with Dave Chappelle? Do you think Michelle Obama is onto something? Or should she just, give it a rest? So thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video. And a huge thanks to all of those who have hyped my videos. It is much appreciated.